I'm Patrick Bailey with iQlist.com. Today is February 13th, 2020. And in this video, I'll be going over loading and unloading filament and also purging filament on the Prusa Mini. Okay, first, why even go over this? Now, some of us are going to be, there's some new people coming along and they've never fiddled with a 3D printer, so it's good to know how to load and unload your filament and how the Prusa Mini works in particular on that. But also, right now, as of firmware 4.0.1, there's an issue, slightly. There's a couple issues with loading and unloading filament. And there's a couple of posts over here. So in my last video, we talked about, I showed a little bit about the Prusa code out there that's on GitHub that you can actually contribute to. But also they show, people will post problems on there and see if they can get them fixed. So there's two problems right now, issue 30 and issue 199. Issue 199 sums it up pretty good. You know, just got this brand new board. I'm having problems unloading and loading filament. After a print, if I choose unload filament, it sure moves the filament backwards and forwards and then grinds the filament. And this guy gives the workaround, which I'm going to go over here. Now, this other issue, which has been around for a while, kind of goes to the same issue, talking about it, but you'll notice here, we are working on a new filament unload sequence to solve this problem. So, there's a problem in the works. There's a problem. There's a solution in the works. Don't know what's going to be done. But with that, let me go show you the basics, and I'll show you this, also show you the problem that's happening right now with the Prusa Mini. Okay, so to unload and unload, it's pretty easy. So what we got to do, this is for the new people, but also show the problem I have right now. So right now, oh, and also from my last video, I have another screw up. So that's still, I am no longer trusting change filaments until they get some code fixed. But anyway, this is cooled down, and this is actually, well, I guess I don't have a good example because it's spit it out. So a couple of things. We'll just load the filament. So right now, you know, push it in here. Now I have the detector here, but you might not have that depending on what you got. So you have to get it all the way pushed up there for the new people. And you don't have to preheat because it will do it itself. But you could preheat, you know, if you want to. But if I hit filament and I say load filament, I have to choose the material anyway. I'll hit PLA and it's going to heat up. So right now it's waiting for temperature. Now once it gets to this point, you're ready to load, so you got to push it all the way in here until you're hitting this. So it's in here where the motors will grab it and the gears will push it. And so once I get it in there, it's not as easy. And this is one of the things where the Prusa Mini is not as nice as the i3 Mark III. It's much nicer on the i3 Mark III than this one. But once I get it up here, I kind of hold it and I put a little pressure on it, and I hit continue, and I can feel it grabbing. And then I just kind of feel it grabbing. And once it gets far enough, it'll go really quickly to get it all to here. And then now, at this point, it's doing purging. So now it slows down again, and it's pushing whatever other color's in there out slowly. And over here, I can hold onto this, and I can feel it. I can feel it moving over here. And you can see there we are purging. And if the color is not correct, you hit no. And if I hit no right now, I'll just hit no. It'll purge again. Okay, so now that's done. But now where I'm at, if I have a problem, like if there's some goop at the end or I don't trust what's going on, I can come over here, I can go into filament, and I can purge again. Now if I purge again, say purge, it's going to stick out that little bit. It's going to go really slow and purge that little bit.
Don't you need green next?
I do, but this is not going to work.
Okay.
This is, no. Okay, now hit done. But now, what you don't want to do here, and hopefully it'll yell at me, because I do have a filament detector here. But what you don't want to do right now is you don't want to load again. If I load again, what it does, it'll grab, go slow. Once it thinks it's at the point, it'll go fast. I don't want it to go fast, because I'm already loaded. So hopefully if I hit load, because I have a filament sensor, hopefully it yells at me. It does not. You don't want it, this is not good. I'm going to hit continue to show you what it does. Hopefully it will yell at me. There you go. See? Now you're going to, see? because it's trying to push through really quick and it can't. So that's probably a bit of code they should change if you have a filament sensor. But if you don't have a filament sensor, you'd see you'd get the same result. So the problem is it tries to push too fast.
Like it's filling it, like it's loading it.
Yeah, like it's loading it. So you don't want to do that. Don't do that. Bad news. Now it's purging. So don't load what's already loaded. Okay, but now that I'm good, I'm going to hit unload. So now if I want to change colors, I'll hit unload. And what it's going to do is it rams. So it'll ram. So what's actually going to do is it's going to push a little bit out. See, I got pushed out, and then it pulls it out. And this is part of the problem with the procedure. I'm going to reload it. So that worked just fine. Now I've got it all the way out. Now I can pull the last little bit out. I'm good to go.
Can you do a darker color?
Sure, I can do a darker color. Got a red. How about red? Is that dark enough for you? Oh, because it'll show up in the tube. Ah, good point. So I'm going to take this, and it's always a good idea. So you can see it's got a little bit of a tip on the end here because it pulled out, so it's changed a little bit. So it's always a good idea to cut it, even at a little bit of angle, just to help it get through easier. So I'll push in here all the way to the end, go to filament, go to load, go to PLA, and since now it's already heated up, we're good to go. So now I got to hold it. I put a little bit of pressure, not much. Hit continue, and I can feel it grabbing. And there we go. So go. Now we're going to purge. Oh, and see, it didn't quite come out far enough. Probably because I didn't get in there as well as I should at first. So I just hit, if it's not coming out, you just hit yes, so it'll, I should have hit no, sorry. If you actually hit no like that, I can go back and hit purge, and purge, it'll just do that little bit and purge it out so I can make sure I can get the right color. So there we go. And hit done. Now what I'm going to try to do is if I can show what's going on right now, one of the bad things, I'm going to let it cool down. And once I let it cool down, if I try to unload it, it has problems. And there's a way around that right now, but I think they're going to redo the code at some point to figure out a better way to unload and load it, because this is a much more difficult thing to load and unload. The way this is designed, where it pushes all this length, compared to the Prusa i3 Mark III, the motor's right there. So when the motor's right there, I've never had a problem at all. I mean, I shouldn't say not at all, but I've never had this kind of problem. It's like when you loaded it, it loads. It's much simpler, much easier to do. Not that this is the end of the world, but it has to do a process. So what I'm going to do is let it cool down, and then we'll come back and film. I'll try to unload it, and that's when I'll have an issue, or should. Okay, so I've let it cool down now, so let's see if I can repeat the problem. So the problem will happen is if I try to unload it, it'll try to ram it first, it'll be unsuccessful, and it'll try to pull it out, and it won't be able to pull it out because it's kind of stuck. So if I hit filaments and I say unload, so it will get up to temperature, but you know, I can imagine it's trying to get up to temperature, but it's probably still not as gooey as it would like to be, and it rams unsuccessfully and pulls out. Or it can. Watch, it'll work. It'll work this time or something. But several times I've had it where it doesn't work. Okay, preparing to ram. Ramming. Oh, there you go. See, oh no, I worked. That time it worked. I got it. It pulled it out. Okay, that time it worked. But in the case where it does not work, if it gets stuck, and mine gets stuck a good portion of the time, I don't know what the ratio is, but it does get stuck. If it does get stuck, what you need to do is before you unload, hit Purge. You hit Purge, and you'll start to see some come out. You might have to hit Purge twice, but once it starts to come out, it'll change. Then it'll be good. Then you hit Unload. It'll unload. I've been successful every single time. It's never gotten stuck permanently. It's gotten stuck. I purge it once, maybe twice, and then unload, then I'm good. But of course, on video, when I'm trying to show the problem, it doesn't occur. Okay, but looking at what they're doing over there, they're probably fiddling with everything, trying to see if they can get a better solution. Like maybe they need to get it up to temperature and let it get up to temperature for 30 seconds. I don't know, but I'm sure those guys are fiddling with it, and a solution is probably going to be on the way in one of the new versions when they update the firmware. Anyway, there we go. Hey, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, hey, give it a thumbs down. Also, if you like what we're doing here, subscribe to the channel by clicking the subscribe button. And lastly, have a piece of info to share? Just post a comment.